Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer. Hope you're all doing very well today, and it's time to rock. We are back home, back on our home archetype of BGV rock of Golgari Midrange in Modern. And you're looking at the list we played the last couple times out. I could see making a tweak or two. There are things that have come to mind, but I also really like where we're at, and I really see the value in continuing to plug away with the same type of lists. So, to that end, we are just running it back, jamming another league, live recorded here for your entertainment on the rock. And as we're finding our first match, we have two brand new Patreon supporters to thank. The link to Patreon for those interested is in the description below, as is the deck tech for this list. But our new patrons are Bloodlights is the first one. Very cool name. Bloodlights is a brand new Inquisitor, so thank you so much, my friend, for supporting this content. And secondly is Teddy Dector, and Teddy is a member of the Tireless tier, so thank you very much for that generous level of support, my friend. And thanks as always to all Patreon supporters. We do appreciate you immensely. Can't say it enough. So, here we go with a really reasonable opening hand. I do wish we were on the play with it because we're not interacting until turn 2, but it's a good, well-balanced hand in a blind game 1. And we are against what I have to assume is Grixis Shadow, which is a pretty good matchup for us, and we are happy to have a really threat-dense hand, or a spell-dense hand in general for that matchup, right? So, we'll be able to maybe read a little bit of something into what the opponent does here with the Thoughtseize. They take Trophy, okay? What we can read into that is that they are probably on Gurmag Angler, which is a little bit tough to beat for us right now, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We've got a lot of really good draws to take care of an Angler. Okay, opponent ripping our hand to pieces. So if they take Collective Brutality away here, which they don't, that would have been like a red flag that they are on, that they're definitely on Stubborn Denial. They still might be, but Thoughtseize, interesting draw. I think we need to take a turn off for the Bob here. The opponent's got a really quick clock that they've assembled, but playing the Bob, of course, allows us to potentially draw another card next turn. It does give us a chump blocker in the near future if we need one. It also gives us the chance to maybe try to cheese out the game with the Brutality Drain and a Bob attack. Whether that will be the case, hard to say, but they got another Shadow. Holy moly. And an Angler. I mean, this is a certified nut draw from the opponent. So, yep. Wow. Unbelievable. We need, like, Land Pulse to beat this. We get Land Inquisition. I mean, we're not dead on board, but that means we're chumping with Bob. With both Bobs. We're playing a Bob and having to chump twice. Yeah, so let's begin with Inquisition here. We get a push. All right. That's our only line, and it's not a winning one. But maybe we'll get a little bit more info out of the opponent here. Even if we draw, like we're taking 5 this turn, we have to draw Pulse next turn, the opponent has to brick. And then we're going to take another hit from Angler. If they brick again, we'll be at 2. And then, admittedly, we do have outs there. We can draw a kill spell for Angler. We can draw an untapped land for QB to trade with it. We are about 1% to win this matchup, and that just went down to nothing. So, you got us. Yeah. pretty rough curve out from the opponent. Matchup is definitely a good one, but, you know, not much we can do about something like that. So, try to win both post-side games. We got a lot of good cards. I don't tend to like Ashiok here, even though it does a couple of decent things. I think we'd rather play more directly value-oriented cards that double as threats or blockers, things like this. I think all 5 of these cards we have to play, and then Plague Man is good. We don't need to play all 3, but maybe we will. I like cutting a land here, and in this case it will be Urborg. I like cutting most discard, including Brutality, can go for sure. And the rest of our deck is pretty good, especially on the play. So these 5 are in. Think we leave in like a Miserly Thoughtseize. Don't even need to leave that 1 in on the play, but I kind of like leaving in 1. And then on the draw, we'll see what they have. Like our Hexdrinkers and Dark Confidants might get worse on the draw because they could play Plague Men of their own. We don't want to get blown out by that. And it's definitely a little more appealing to have discard on the draw to disrupt them. They don't usually curve out so quickly like they did on the play there. Alright, this hand's a keep. We hit a 3rd land, it should be really good. Admittedly, if we brick on lands for too long, it gets really clunky. But you don't like to mulligan in this matchup, so it's a keep and the opponent will mull. Nice. And there we go. There's our 3rd land. So we need green, we need double black. Guess we're fetching and shocking. The Goyf has arrived. The Goyf has been pushed. Okay, opponent just says go. So, one option is to just jam the Lily. Problems with that are, number 1, they could have Stubborn Denial. Number 2, they could, even if they don't, we don't necessarily have any, like, amazing cards to pitch in our hand. So for that reason, I'm actually kind of inclined to play Tireless Tracker. The problem with that, of course, is they can just kill it without it getting any value. But with another 1 in hand, the only way we really get punished is if they have like a kill spell here, then they untap and play discard. So it's a really interesting call. But I think I am going to go for the Lily, but I'm a lot closer to playing Tracker out on turn 3 than I usually would be. Thought Scour in response, okay. Stubby D. Yep, so the opponent kind of had the perfect turn. For all we know, again, they're holding up a kill spell as well. But... And now they have an Angler here, which it looks as though they do. That's pretty rough. But we got 1 stub out of their hand, at least. And they leave the stub in the graveyard. Very interesting to note. And it looks like we're going to have some fun with trackers, though. That's the upside. And we're going to have Fields doing a lot of work here. Ooh, Dismember. Yep. If we can extend the game, if we can deal with the Angler, our Fields will wreak havoc. Oh, man. What a well-timed Thoughtseize. They take push? Ooh, scary. Yep, that definitely means they have a Shadow. Oh, okay, we draw another one. You gotta love it. You love to see it. And we're just main phasing this, of course, playing around Stubby D. And now our position's pretty good. We're definitely not out of the woods yet, though. But we're really forcing the opponent to have something else very good right now. They need another land to make snaps good, and they don't have it. So, all right, making more clues. Cracking one. Pulse. Yeah, we're going to go for it. They could have another Stubby D, but you know what? This is still the right play. Countered by Drown in the Loch. All right. So, I don't really know. Like, I don't expect Temur Battle Rage to still be in their deck, and they also just don't have red yet. So I think we're attacking. Feels a little sketchy, but I think we're attacking. Drown in the Loch has some spice for those who haven't seen my recent Sultai video. Oh no, there's red, and there's the third mana. Ugh. I imagine that we're probably doomed now, whatever it might be. If they just have a K command, we're dead. Anyway, for those who haven't seen my recent Sultai video, Drown in the Loch put in a ton of work. Oh God, that's so bad. That's just so bad. You know, they top decked that fetch because they clearly didn't have it. Super unlucky there. What are you gonna do? Super, super unlucky. First time I've lost a match in a long time to Shadow. It's possible that some other lines could have worked out better for us, but I don't think anything we did was strictly incorrect by any means. They just kind of had the right stuff at the right times relative to what we were doing. You know, we chose to run out Liliana instead of Tracker, but they had Dismember for the Tracker anyway, and they ended up having Drown in the Loch later, so it looks like they could have just handled us no matter what we did. Even so, again, our position was still fine until they top-decked the fetch land to unlock the Kolaghan's command in their hand, and to punish us for attacking. Pretty rough, but that's okay. We carry on. Opponent didn't want to face us there. I see how it is, OP. I see how it is. Okay. We're on the play. Our hand is quite solid. And we are against Grixis Control. Very bad matchup. Very annoying matchup. One that I always complain about. Whenever I have to face it on BGX, which is like depressingly common, I always complain about it because I don't understand what they do besides like outgrind fair decks, but I always complain about it, and then I often get there anyway against it, so maybe I should just stop complaining so much, but anyway. We're going Hexdrinker here. See if it resolves. And then... So, my initial plan was to make this a Liliana game, but they might really struggle to beat a Hexdrinker. So, I think we're going to play an untapped land now. Give ourselves more flexibility next turn while also probably committing to making it level 3. Because, like, they have just a billion trillion 2-for-1s in hand, even after we took that snap. Plus, they can force our Liliana if they really want to. So maybe just going hard into Hexy is the way forward. They did bottom with the opt. Probably a good sign for us. I think they're probably looking for push or bolt or whatever else they have that could kill this before it becomes level 3. I'm going to play Island. Do they have Drown in the luck? They have Rise and Fall. Just bouncing it. Wow. That's great value for us. Yeah, that we price them into that, that's pretty good. So, I guess now we go on the Liliana plan, huh? If they force her, they force her. Then maybe we, then we will have gotten like a 1-for-0 and a 2-for-1. Still might struggle to win through those K commands, but... And if they don't, well, then it becomes a Liliana game. Okay. They have a Snapcaster in hand as well, so... I guess Rise and Fall was still pretty good for them. Are we leaving ourselves the option? Nah. I was going to say to play field and make Hexdrinker level 3. I just don't think it's good enough. And I think Treetop Village is powerful enough that we're not quite supposed to do that. Because they just got, snap, rise, and fall at some point for that. Abrupt Decay. Yeah, alright, it's a fine one. But I think we're pitching it. So the opponent maybe could pitch their Snapcaster here and then buy it back with K-Command. Maybe they're thinking about that. Castle Locthwain could become very nice in this matchup at some point. especially if they're going to struggle to answer our Lily. And if they do pitch their Snapcaster here, then we get to play Scooze, and then they have to decide whether Decay command. Okay. Yeah, let's pitch Decay. Even though Decay is kind of interesting because they're probably going on Snap to pressure Lily. Still think it's the weakest card in our hand. So yeah, if they pitch Snap here, then we cast Scooze. Might make their life a little bit tougher. Yes. Okay. So now if they don't want us to eat the Snap, they have to K-command right now. Or unless they're holding up their 4th card as something else they can do on the end step that's good. And if they K-command to make us discard, then I guess we probably have to pitch Hexdrinker, right? Because then we can eat it with Scooze, get Scooze up to a 3/3, so it survives the other K-command, and then we still get to play our Treetop Village. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we lose Hexy there. But he lives on in the belly of our ooze. Yeah, so taking away the Snap with our Inquisition actually was kind of bad against a Rise and Fall, but this is not a card I play around. It's certainly not that common. Yes, it's playable in Grixis, but I don't know. This is the type of card that makes me again wonder about the Grixis decks. Just like, yeah, you're very, very, very good against attrition, but then what? But then what? Anyway, they go bottom with another Opt, leading on the Opt. Playing out that Steam Vents. Then Snapcaster Mage. For another Opt, just getting the Snap value before we get to untap. Alright, I get it. This could end really well for us if we draw something that is like impactful to the board right now. Just get to keep ticking up with Lily. Start growing nice and big. Okay, that's a top with this Opt. Field of Ruin. Bit of a brick. But not fully, of course, because we just get to have asymmetrical discard, and I guess that's better than killing Snap at the moment. And we're certainly just going to say go here, try to protect the Lily so she can ult, perhaps, and we're holding up all kinds of stuff. So one of the worst things they could have is Bolt, Snap, Bolt. They bolt the Ooze. We fire up Treetop when they go to attack. They have Snap Bolt for it. Okay, but they're opting to the bottom. I'm really not a huge fan of like how consistently they've been printing pushed planeswalkers, especially since War of the Spark. Wow, nothing. I think Liliana the Veil is and will always be the gold standard of a well-designed planeswalker, if you ask me. Alright, we're activating the castle. And they can get it out of our hand with a K command, but they're going to get us with the point of their choosing, basically, so that wouldn't be the end of the world at all. Maybe they K command to shock Lily, prevent her from ulting. Yeah, this is fine for us, so now we get to even freely activate a Scooze. And I guess we're just going after the K commands here. And we don't lose much, we just lose a fetch land, no big deal. Tarmogoyf is a good draw. So, yeah, we're not holding up field. Are we holding up Treetop? Doesn't matter. Are we attacking with Ooze? I don't think we are. So, for that reason, we can just run out Goyf first. I think we're just leaning as hard as possible on the Lily. We don't want them to, like, bounce the Goyf with this, or even with, like, a Cryptic command or something, and then have a free attack. Opponent tanking on a lot of decisions here. Okay, so we're definitely taking a block. It's just a question of how we wish to do so. If I had another green mana open after doing so, I might actually even fire up Treetop, but I guess we're just going to block with Goyf. Like, if they finish Goyf, sure. That's more stuff in the graveyard for Scooze to eat. It's probably some kind of a 2-for-1 in our favor. Okay, bolting Scooze, pretty rough. And if they have Snap Bolt here, this is just one of the things we've been afraid of, right? But not much we can do about it. Yup. Yay, Grixis. Yay, Grixis. Well, it's an interesting match, for sure. Dark Confidant. Yes. I accept. We get another snap out of their hand. Beautiful. Alright. Sitting back behind everything, we got Treetop Village that can outsize us an attacking Snapcaster. Opponent top decks a land. Sweet. Okay. We draw land Fatal Push, huh? Yeah, I guess we just dump out our hand, put Lily to 7. Seems good. And we cannot activate Castle because we had to use black there, so... So now if the opponent top decks another land, alting becomes very, very attractive. Even if they don't, it might still be good. We are untapping again with Bob. Very, very good. Thoughtseize. Okay. So an option is to tick up with Lily again. Or we can just basically double Stone Rain. We could put, like, the 2 Watery Graves alone. I kind of want to activate Lily here before doing anything. I think I'm alting. Okay. I guess we'll Thoughtseize now. Okay, that's the concession. Apparently that was the right call. Alright, awesome to win game 1 against this pile of 2-for-1s. You gotta love it. You love to win that game 1. Now can we win the following games? Well, I don't know, but we're gonna give it a shot. So Finks and Spellbomb both looking great. We do want Brutality. You know, against Grixis, Ashiok is looking better. I'm still reluctant to play it, though. I'd probably only play 1. And then you've got the prospect of Plague Man as just like a... because they're so Snapcaster oriented. Not only playing a full 4, I'm sure, but also being able to buy them back. That, like, Plague Man against specifically this Snapcaster deck is interesting. The downside is it's a very medium body. It dies to everything, including the damage the Shock of K command, right? So, once again, we cut a land. These 3 definitely in. Maybe we're just going to make rather minimal changes. Against, like, blue-white control, trimming a Scooze is free, but I like Scooze a lot more here. I mean, we're just probably cutting decays and trophies, stuff, something like that, right? I don't know what planeswalkers they're likeliest to have. Maybe, like, Jace. So, yeah, I think leaning on Trophy and Pulse more than Decay is pretty good. And do we want to just leave in 2 trophies, or do we want to, like... we want to play a cheeky 1 of Plague Man? We're on the draw. Yeah, okay, you know, I'm gonna set up like this. We're gonna run out a single Plague Man. See how it does, see what the opponent's up to. Oof, yeah, I could have cut Fatal Pushes too. Is it too late? I'm trying to think it's too late. Either my client's lagging or we're loading into the game. Yeah, okay, Fatal Pushes should have gone. I just overlooked that. At least some number. It's a fine hand. Okay. They take our Thoughtseize. Not entirely unexpected. It does mean they have an answer to Goyf. So they probably have a Fatal Push. Maybe like a Drown in the Loch, but right now Loch won't counter or kill Goyf. Hitting the Peatland was great. So we're just forcing them to answer some really powerful threats on curve. They were felt priced into discarding our discard, so now they have to answer T2 Goyf into T3 Lily, into probably T4 Scooze. While we're waiting for the opponent, I do just want to remind everybody to like, share, comment, and if you have not already done so, subscribe to the channel. That's a great way to help me grow. Definitely growing at a nice, steady rate. Really, really happy with that. And but hey, we can always do better, right? So smash that like button. Thank you very much. Okay, so Collective is interesting here. Just the likeliest thing to clear the way for Liliana, so I'm tempted to cast it. On the other hand, the opponent had to Effect Shock Thoughtseize, and then they played a basic, so it looks like they're relatively land light, and I mean, if they're on anything besides Drown in the Loch in terms of permission, like drawing it out with Goyf is almost as good as brutalitying them, so let's go for the Goyf. Let's go for the proactive thing. Petty Theft to bounce it. Well, alright then. Brazen Borrower. You know, they looked at the list and said, I don't have enough 2-for-1s. I need the Brazen Borrower. This card is awesome, by the way. Definitely really good. Oh, come on. Really? The Fall getting our Brutality and our Liliana? This matchup tilts me. Matchup tilts me. And they do have a third land. It's a Tar Pit. That's a scary land. That's a very, very scary land. Yeah, Scooze can't survive anything, so I guess we're just Goyfing. But yeah, there goes our window for Liliana. And we lost a Brutality along the way. Feels bad, man. Field of Ruin is a nice thing to have in the back pocket here for their Tar Pit. This card is tough for our deck to play against because bounce effects are pretty decent against us, even though they're value negative because we are slower and clunkier than some, and we do have things that get bigger and better the longer they stay on the field in a lot of cases, and bouncing them can reset them, and then just a flying 3-for-1 as the back half. Yeah, that's good. Fatal Push. Okay. So as long as that Blast Zone is around, we are not running out Scooze. Fatal Push is a card that I probably should have sided out to some degree, but really nice draw here actually if they go Brazen Borrower right now, and they do. Beautiful. So this is perfect. We get to... yeah, we get to Fatal Push. So the only question is, do we want to field first? The only risk of fielding is that it turns on maybe some kind of counter magic. But I think we're still supposed to. I think we still have to hit this Blast Zone while we can. And, you know, even if they have counter magic, it's a 1-for-1 trade. That's really not that bad. It's only a 3-1 flyer. Like, our stuff's better. We have Pulse to kill it as well. But we got it. Good. Goyf is now a 5/6, so the opponent really needs Fail Push, probably one of the only things that takes care of Goyf. Blast Zone is interesting in a 3-color deck with a lot of colored mana symbols, like double blue on 3. Cryptic Command, I'm sure. Red-black. Yeah. Maybe it's a sideboard card that they treat like a spell. But maybe EE would be better there, but I don't know. I'm no expert. Okay, going for the old Bolt Snap Bolt probably on Goyf, or just double Bolt. Yeah, okay, 2 for 1 in our favor. We'll take it. And clearing the way for Scooze. Ooh, Spellbomb. I think we play Spellbomb first in case they have Snapcaster Mage. Maybe they just Snap Bolt us in response. Alright, now I'll go for Scooze. What is this for 3 mana Logic Knot? Not a card I was playing around. That's alright, though. We are ahead on resources. We have a redraw. We have 2 redraws on field. Might be a little tight on mana to use both, but we have these things. And we're also ahead on life total, so it's not like the opponent can just go sicko mode with the Creeping Tar Pit, you know? Like, they can, but it's a little risky, and we'll win the race even just with Quagmire right now. They have drawn whatever they saw with Opt. If they do attack with Tar Pit, I think I'm gonna crack Spellbomb on the end step. Because they don't, I think we have the patience, we have the ability to be patient here. Inquisition. Kind of likely to whiff, I think, but I'm still going to do it. Pretty good spot for it, not really going to get any better. Kalitas, oh no. Oh no, that's so bad. The whiff. You know, at least we have Pulse, but man, that's very unfortunate. Interesting that they slow rolled him last turn, right? Okay. I'm gonna Spellbomb now. It's getting plenty of value out of their yard, especially against Logic Knots. It's fine to just kind of like clear out the yard in a really general sense. I don't think I'm casting Brutality yet. Only thing they can really have here is Spell Pierce, which we just played around by playing a land. And I am going to crack Peatland on the end step here. Opponent has lost connection to the game. Okay, let's look at their basics. Dominaria, Dominaria. I like the dedication to matching. That's a pretty cool mountain. Mark Pool. Mark Pool, okay. This island is not to my taste, but it's interesting, it's unique. I know I bet a lot of people like that. Very, very much a fine choice. Just like to see people putting some thought into the basics, you know? Your taste is subjective, but Give them some love, right? Give them a little bit of love. That's all I ask. And the opponent is doing that. And the opponent has rejoined the game. If they do manage to take us to Game 3, we could probably just win on the clock at this rate. Therefore, even if they just draw like nothing but pure perfect gas from here on out and it becomes hopeless, I'm still going to play it out. Oh no. What? Multiple Kalidases? Guys, I don't understand Grixis. Help me understand this archetype. Okay. We're going to go for the Hexdrinker, try to make it level 4. If they have exactly Bolt, we get blown out hard. If they don't, this thing can possibly win us the game. Nice. So as we've seen, the opponent does have outs to a level 3 Hexdrinker. They can bounce it with Rise, which is a sorcery. We only have pro instants. And they do have Blast Zone as well, which even level 8 doesn't protect from. So I guess the next order of business, assuming Hexdrinker doesn't get dealt with right now, is probably have to put it to level 8, even if we like draw land to make Tracker good. This Opt will go to the bottom. So I'm trying to think, if the opponent attacks with Kalidas, what that could signify besides a bluff. Like, I think any red damage is going to be sorcery speed, or instant speed, not sorcery. So I don't think block, like if they make a bluff attack out of desperation, I think we take the block. Okay. No attack, and we draw a trophy. Yeah. We can't make it level 8. Alright, let's cast a Brutality. Yep, 1 mana shy of making it level 8. We haven't hit lands this game, really. Not complaining, our progression's been perfectly fine, but a little unusual to be only on 4 lands. Granted, we cracked 1 by turn 9. Kind of unfortunate with a Tracker stuck in hand, but I guess the floor for this turn is still probably pretty high regardless. Kolaghan's Command, buying back another Kalidas and forcing us to discard. Huh. Sure. So I guess we pick Trophy here, right? Because we're not... like, killing the first Kalidas doesn't do much. Snapcaster Mage. Grixis, why? Why, Grixis, why? Okay. So... is it worth attacking? Because then they get to attack back with lifelink, but that nets us 1 damage total, so I guess it is. And their clock doesn't matter much. Okay, Snap K command, I guess. No, Snap Opt. Wow, okay. I guess looking for an out to Hexdrinker desperately. Maybe, I don't know what else they have besides Rise. Whatever they had, they bottomed. There's a land, they have Kalitas, one unknown in hand. Here comes their Kalitas. Okay. So, yeah, we've got them in 2 turns. Unless they can kill their own... Nah, you can't. Never mind. I was going to say kill their own Snapcaster to, and then sink mana into Kalitas to get more lifelink, but that's not how that works. Again, either way, the clock is our friend here. Okay. We did it. We 2-0'd Grixis Control, and we had the inevitability of the Game 3 win on the clock if that Game 2 had gone awry near the end. So, alright, well, we lost a good matchup, and then we won a bad matchup. That's magic for you sometimes. I continue to be pretty happy with how the Rock has felt. I haven't quite had, like, an amazing run of luck lately. Like, it's been a lot of like, on average, tough matchups, tougher than average, I think, compared to what the meta shows, but that's a good sign. It's a good sign for the deck that we're staying quite competitive despite that, and, yeah, good keep. Opponent will mull. We like that. And, yeah. I think this deck is very, very capable of getting some 5-0s. If I had more time to play, I'd be pretty confident about getting some, but we haven't seen a Rock 5-0 in a while on the 5-0 dumps, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope to change that. Obviously, we're not doing that this league. Oh my, another Cryptic Snap deck. So, do we take Snap or do we take Remand? If we take Remand right now, we can Brutality away the Cryptic next turn. We're leaving them the 2-for-1 of Snap, but I think that's actually our best play. Because if we take Snap, we leave them with Remand, then they Remand our Brutality, then maybe, just maybe, we never get the Cryptic out of their hand, and that's how they start winning the game. They've got 3 fetch lands, and we only see mono blue cards. So this could be Blue Moon. We should keep that in mind. And maybe, to that end, fetch a basic forest next turn. So far, it could be Blue Moon still. Now, the big appeal to taking Snapcaster Mage there is, of course, that it's just the 2-for-1 and that our Brutality cannot take it. But again, I think we have to, like, beat what's going on right here, right now first. Fatal Push can at least trade with the back half of Snap. No escalation here because they could have drawn another Remand, and that would blow us out. And also because the lands are pure gas. Brazen Borrower. Oh, this card is haunting us today. Liliana. That's a good draw. We're going to go for her. Nice. So we picked field here. And opponent is certainly going to be doing something on the end step, whether it be just snap for pressure, or petty theft, or even flashing in the 3-1. Yeah, this is fine. They didn't 2-for-1 us. They just played a Vendilion click without the hand info, basically. I'm not saying that was wrong from the opponent, but ooh, and they don't have Snapper Man for this turn. Lovely. So let's tick up, and I guess we should pick Quagmire just in case we're able to get Revolt for push. Or should we see if Tracker resolves first? Nah, let's activate first. Plus, if they just flash and snap on the unstep, even without Revolt, push will be good here. Brineborn Cutthroat. Aha, so that's what this deck is. Got it. And they remain disciplined with Snappy, huh? Okay, so even losing our Lily here will generate Revolt. Hey, Lily was great here. Lily did a lot of work for us. Forced them into some suboptimal plays. Opponent is opting. I guess we're going to push now. Alright. Ooh, did they draw removal? Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. Okay, we draw Dark Confidant, but they have Snap Opt. So let's crack a clue first. Or Snap Bolt, excuse me. Lily. Alright, I mean, I think we still just run out Bob here. This is pricing them into Snap Bolt and making sure we can land Liliana next turn. Also just dealing with Snapcaster on our own terms. And if they play a land out here, then we know exactly what to do, which is Liliana Edict. If they don't, it'll be interesting. They don't. So do we like the +1? Or do we like the -1? It's a real interesting call. I think I like the +1. I don't much like the draw of Blooming Marsh there. That's pretty awkward, but... Okay, remand. Sure. So we could maybe have gotten away with minusing there, but there's no way to know. Hexy. Hello. Hello, Hexy. Let's go for all the levels first, I guess. Ticking up or down, do they have another, like, Brazen Borrower style thing in hand? Ticking down is the guaranteed value. But... Alright, let's tick up. Slightly risky. But maybe it's just permission. Brineborn Cutthroat. Okay. Great draw of Hexdrinker. Opponent hits a land. Okay. So they're live for cryptic commands and so on, but... Ooh, another Lily. Yeah. So do we just take care of their whole board, or do we put ourselves to level 8? I think we've got to go to level 8. I just really doubt they can beat this. The Hexdrinker. You gotta love it. Sweet card. Yeah, so this is kind of a, for those who don't know, this is like a blue-red tempo deck that this card gets really big really quick, and it's kind of hard to play around, of course, because they can flash it in. And, yeah. It's kind of a tempo control deck. We draw Fatal Push. Cool. I think starting off with push is fine here against like whatever they could have, basically. Okay, Snap Remand. That's kind of what I was actually playing around, but the opponent was really disciplined there. But if they had Snap Remanded just for value, then we could have replayed everything. It's all a little bit academic, though, because we have a mini Progenitus on the field. They can Cryptic Command tapping down all creatures, which does not target, so they can buy time with that, but I don't know how they beat it, and then, yeah, there's a scoop. Sweet. Okay, so before we leave the screen, Merfolk Pirate, quite the creature type, Human Wizard, Fairy Rogue. So they play a million X1s. Unfortunately, they don't share types too much, but Plague Engineer is still looking interesting. I'm not as interested in Finks, I don't think, because as I was against Grixis. Maybe I still am, actually. That's still interesting. I definitely want Decay here, whereas I don't think I did before. Rider is interesting as well, so we're considering more cards, and ironically we have fewer cards to bring out. Last time we left our pushes in when we didn't necessarily need to, but now we kind of want to leave most pushes in, if not all. Anyway, once again we're trimming a land, and once again it'll be Urborg. I guess figure out what we don't like. I don't know how correct it is to trim a little bit on discard. Probably not particularly correct. I think I'm going to lose a Questing Beast here. Is that right, or maybe not? I mean, most of our deck's just quite good. Maybe we... Do we move away from trophies because they seem like they're a little bit lower to the ground? Ramping them might not be the greatest. We'll keep our Pulse for the 2-for-1 potential to remove Planeswalkers. We'll play a couple Decays. Maybe that's really wrong, but I think I might give it a shot. And I also think I'm going to cut a QB for a Plague Man. And do we want to go any further down that road of Plague Engineer? I don't know. I think just kind of using it as a pseudo kill spell is better than anything. So, maybe Dark Confidant's a little worse on the draw, but still probably good enough to just leave in all copies, right? And do we need all the Fatal Pushes? I kind of think we do. I think one of the major ways we lose this is Brineborn Cutthroat, like, turn 2, snowballing the game while they interact. And if our hand's too clunky, we won't be able to compete. I think, unlike Grixis, we do have a better late game than this deck, so good hand. A little painful, but we've got Oozes to recoup some life in the mid-game. Okay, so they got Lightning Bolt, Double Snap, Remand. Well, that's a hand that deals with our hand very well. So we are just taking away one of the 2-for-1s. Okay, good hand from the opponent. I don't know if this deck plays Blood Moon at all. I guess I'll play around it. So they showed us a land. No, they didn't. We knew about that island. So they have one unknown in hand. Yeah, there's just no point in running out anything into Remand there. Goyf. I guess we wait for discard to force something through, or maybe just go for a double spell turn next turn. And we want to start fixing our mana, like you do something this turn using Field of Ruin. I think I'm going to. This really ensures us against Blood Moon. Makes their mana slightly worse, but that's not going to be much of a factor because they have all the fetches. And it also means we don't get Revolt as easily, but I think that's fine. We also have Peatland to get Revolt at some point, if and when we need it. We draw Finks. It's a good card. It's bad against Remand, but it's a good card. So I think we just start trying to force things through. And I think we're going to begin with Goyf because they can't just let it resolve then bolt it. So if they go Remand here, then that's fine. We just play it again. What we don't want them to have is Cryptic. And they don't. They have another Remand, that's obviously quite annoying. Talk about the basic game being on point. Okay, end step Cutthroat. This fetching makes me very suspicious for Blood Moon, by the way, unless they're just being very respectful of their life total. but we're totally insulated from Moon right now. The only thing it's going to do is make Skooz worse. Actually, we cannot cast Finks if they go Moon right here, so there's that. Alright, so they are not holding up Snap Remand. They are holding up Snap Opt. They're also just holding up Bolt. Despite the Cutthroat, we are the aggressor now that we have a Goyf. And we're just drawing, like, only threats, which is admittedly probably okay. This is another Cutthroat. They might try to engineer some kind of a double block situation, but in that case, ooh, Magmatic Sinkhole. Yep, that's a way to answer Goyf. Alright, fair enough. So, I think it's got to be Finks +1. So the only thing they could really have here is Spell Pierce, or Spell Snare, rather, that matters. So we should lead on a 2-drop. What's the one? I think they're most likely to want a Spell Snare and Ooze, which is actually fine with us, so let's just go Ooze. And, like, Ooze dying to Bolt is fine, because we've got another one next turn. Okay, so Finks is pretty sweet here, and Cutthroat only gets pumped when they cast during our turn. So they can't pump it just by doing things at instant speed here. So we're safe from that. And sure enough, opponent bolts the Ooze. Their shield's down with red. We draw Fatal Push. Nice. I guess we just main phase that. See what happens. Okay. Okay, next order of business is to play a Skooz. Opponent might go Snap Opt here. Yeah, they do have a Spell Snare. Wow. They must have just top decked that, right? It's pretty wild. That's actually very punishing. I think we sequenced really well around that, but then they just had it anyway. Like they would have had it last turn, right? You'd think. But maybe they just top decked it, or maybe they were just super disciplined with it. If so, hey, kudos. Snap Bolt. Yep, they're keeping pace with us very well. We draw Decay. Not the greatest. But not the worst either. And the Finks is an issue. Finks is doing some work. And yeah, we pass holding up Decay, holding up Peatland. Yeah, take it. Don't know what to make of that attack. We're untapping with Bob, that's awesome. We draw Thoughtseize, also nice. So if we Thoughtseize, they can Cryptic to tap down the team and counter. then I think that's fine for us. So let's begin with the Thoughtseize. This is going to get any flash creatures out of their hand. Force of Negation. You got it. Please resolve. All right. Excellent. Position is awesome now. And Decay is going to be very helpful as a finisher here to keep the board clear. Quagmire as well. Okay, opponents got Bolt, you know. Again, they're keeping pace. Their fetching, though, feels like it hurt them by getting that third basic island, right? Feels like they've been really choked on red. I don't know, maybe that's just unlucky, but... Okay, Nihil Spellbomb. Think I'm down to lead on that. All right. I'm not going to use my Decay quite yet. I'm not going to get that aggressive. We have the inevitability, like the opponent has to answer Bob, or they're just going to get buried. And I'm surprised at no block and also nothing else. Alright, there's that Blood Moon. We've been playing around it all day, and their fetching makes sense now. And we go get a forest, so now we're super safe. We can even decay the thing if we want. Oh, okay. I really should have, like, floated black or something there. Just in case, but... Okay, Goyf and Push. That's gonna do it. Alright. Was just trying to think of the way to best play around everything, but I guess we kind of had him no matter what. If not that turn, then certainly the inevitability. So, alright, we are stomping out the control decks. And that was not a challenge to the universe to show us blue-white control next. I'm done playing control. It's been a long league with these blue decks already. Let's play something different, right? But anyway, that was maybe not big mana either. Let's have some solidly favored matchups for us. Anyway, the deck's looking great. The deck's feeling great. We are well balanced. We can take all comers with this list. All comers except Eldrazi-tron, right? That's the deck. That's the boogeyman deck right now. And yeah, I mean, some nutty curve outs from Shadow. I think my win rate against Shadow is probably about 75% against Grixis Shadow specifically. It's a very good matchup, so I think on most days we take that round one home, and now then we'd be sitting pretty. But as is, we're still doing very well. I hope you're enjoying the league. Hope you're having a good time rocking right along with me. This is what Modern is all about. This is our favorite archetype in Modern. Whether or not we splash a color, it is all good. The Sultai League was fun. It's always fun to play Jund. It's been fun to dip into Abzan and Dead Guy. But, again, I just don't have quite as much time to play as I would prefer, especially because Modern has changed so much in the past, 4 months since Horizons came out, right? Yeah, it's a fine hand. Very much better on the play than the draw. This mono would be awkward a lot of the time, but the contents of our hand as far as the spells go do facilitate it a little bit more. Once Upon a Time for a Tarmogoyf, okay. This is, I guess, Jund Traverse Shadow, if I had to guess. When they go Once Upon a Time into Goyf and then cycle a Wraith. I don't know how I feel about Once Upon a Time in a deck that's that low to the ground mono-wise. In your opener, when you keep 7 like they did, it's awesome, right? But, I mean, I certainly don't know. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just a little surprised to see it. Let me know, as always, my friends, what you think about that. Okay, quite the opening turn from our opponent. They have taken like 5 different actions here. And they take care of our trophy, leaving us totally bereft of removal. So that's not a great place to be. We could get curved out on like we did by the Grixis deck. So it's just Bob time. I'm trying to bury the opponent. In cards. Monomorphos. If it's just into Goyf, that's pretty good for us. But Goyf is like the floor of their turn. I'm sure they can find all kinds of other stuff. Goyf, and we get to untap with Bob. Let's hit some awesome stuff. Lily of the Veil. Lily of the Veil is what I wanted to hit. We didn't hit it. We hit a Decay. So, one play that's pretty interesting is to just play our own Goyf and then play Treetop. The problem is we are then back to being out of removal if the opponent top decks more discard, or just has more discard that they didn't want to play because it wasn't mana efficient enough. So, I think what we're going to do is just play the village and pass. We're also not going to attack. We don't want to turn on shadows yet. Sometimes I don't mind it, but in this case I do. I'm also deciding whether or not to play Tomb, because Tomb is what they know about, and they know about Treetop as well, because they had turn 1 Thoughtseize, right? Okay. Now, post-side, I think we would be decaying the Goyf during our turn in case of Veil of Summer. But if Veil of Summer gets us game 1 in a shadow deck, then then whatever. You know, what are you going to do about that? So opponents just leaving us the Bobs makes sense. Playing the shadow. Alright, we just need to keep hitting removal. Lily of the Veil, very nice. And we need to shock in to play her. Beautiful. And the opponent knows about this Hexdrinker, so we'll just run it out before we attack. And now it's time to attack. Now it's correct to attack, in my view. Because we've just pulled pretty far ahead of the opponent. I got another pair of shadows, or something, then could still go their way. Gore Clan Rampager hardcast. 4/4 trample. Alright. So I think we just make Hexdrinker very high level this turn. We can play a Bob and put it to 3, and then just try not to die next turn, and then have the free win with Hexy. So with that in mind, let's tick up Kitchen Catacombs, I suppose. There should be no way we lose this upcoming turn. Especially if they have to begin their turn by cracking a Peatland. Hexdrinker stealing all kinds of games this league, by the way. Tarmogoyf, sure. Opponent is just dead on board, but they may be just getting more info off of our turn here. Very painful bob hits, but... Okay, count to 8, GG. Hexdrinker OP. Dark Confidant was obviously amazing there too. Bob just staking early, drawing us a million cards. The opponent priced into taking other things. We got the Liliana. We got 3 cards out of their hand, out of their possession with Liliana all day. Tick down, tick up, tick down again against a deck like this. Very good. So, the one thing I don't know is if they are playing Traverse. Maybe they're playing Once Upon a Time instead of Traverse, which would make Spellbomb a little bit worse. So let's not say we're definitely bringing in Spellbomb. We still might. But Rider, Abrupt Decay, Finks are awesome. And then the second tier is Spellbomb and Engineer, is how I see it. Once again, we're moving mostly away from discard, but if we're going to leave one in, we left in Thoughtseize against Grixis, because that can take Angler. Here we leave Inquisition, because they're a little more aggressive and lower curve, as far as I know. Everything in their deck is going to be able to be taken away by Inquisition, right? So, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to cut a Bob on the draw. They could be on Plague Man. We have a lot of X1s that could come down early and get wrecked, so... These 4 are in, that leaves us 3 slots, and then we got 2 Plague Men and a Spellbomb. I think that's fine. I think that's really fine, actually. The 3rd Plague Man is definitely playable, but I'll play the Spellbomb on the draw. Lower the curve a bit, get some early interaction. We're very well configured for matchups like this, I believe. Our hand's great, too. We want the opponent to not have discard here because we are just a little bit spell light, but all 3 of our spells are awesome. We have 3 pieces of utility in our lands. This is the type of hand that, and the type of matchup that really shows you the power of the rock mana base. Like, we've got 2 creature lands and a Field of Ruin against a deck where all of those things are awesome. Right? So, pretty cool. I mean, we gotta respect the opponent, though. They could rip our hand up and curve out really aggressively like we saw them do, like we saw the Shadow deck do round 1. Okay, so they're doing the bobble trick where they bobble themselves first thing and then decide whether or not they wish to fetch before they draw whatever's on top. And it looks like whatever is on top is good enough to be drawn. And we draw Nihil Spellbomb. If this Field of Ruin was another Blooming Marsh, I would play a Marsh and run it out. But as it is, I think we need to be able to give ourselves the option for Decay next turn. So, and this is fine. There's no urgent need for Spellbomb anyway. Sometimes I think it would be funny to cheese out these bobble decks with an Ouphe, but obviously that's a little bit loose. But like, if you just want to increase your amount of bodies, because like a 2/2 body is really relevant here, then yeah, honestly, playing playing the Ouphe is not that bad if you don't have enough otherwise to do in the matchup, right? So, having drawn Swamp, our mana's now really good. I think I kind of want to play a Spellbomb. Don't really just want to run my only creature out into potential removal. Or Planeswalker. If they've got Liliana here, that's pretty rough. And, okay, Shadow, sure. Shadow, yeah. Alright, time to crack the Spellbomb, looking for action. Fatal Push is action. Okay, so the only question is, are we playing around Veil of Summer? I guess we might as well. And if we are, that means we should move to their upkeep and then do it, because it's just going to give them one less mana to work with next turn. So... play Swamp, move to the opponent's upkeep. Then we'll push and decay. Lovely, lovely. We've got Liliana as a follow-up. Ooh, so do they. Yikes. That's scary. It's a little scary. We draw land. So we can do a few things. We can field the opponent, start attacking their mana, and then play Tarmogoyf, who's going to get Edicted. We could also just play our own Liliana and play a Treetop Village and try to match them Lily for Lily, but we have the manlands to swing the difference. Or we could attack with Hissing Quagmire. I think I kind of like playing our own Liliana here. And we do this before we show them that we're going to have a Treetop, which is a more efficient way to pressure Lily, of course, than Quagmire in a couple different ways. Opponent will pitch it to Hearthfire. Okay, so if they tick up, we pitch Field. We still have Goyf to deploy. They don't look... I hope they can't empty their hand this turn. So if they have to tick up and lose something... it's pretty good for us, all things considered. They don't even tick up? Wow. Awesome. All right. So, Castle will enter untapped. So let's take Lily up before we do anything else. Only problem with this is if the opponent is on Kolaghan's command. This is a tough call. They could very well be on K command. And that would punish us for ticking up before getting our hand down. Alright. I'm gonna dump out the hand before ticking up. This does give them some info. Some better info to work with in terms of what to pitch, but it insulates us better from a K command. And I do believe I'm attacking with the village here. Sure. Not unexpected. Okay, so we're winning the Liliana race at the moment. Let's hope the opponent does not have two creatures or like a creature and a 2-for-1 of some kind. Plague Man. Alright. Okay. Peatland, that's good for the opponent. So is a Scooze for us. Beautiful. Alright. So we get to Edict OP and just kill their Liliana with Quagmire, which I suppose is the play. They draw Goyf. Okay, we can beat that. Especially when we draw a Goyf of our own, so yeah. Keep chewing away at their board. Alright, needless to say, our position's awesome. It's not over, but we're very favored. Shadow, a little scary. Okay, Swamp, not very good, but let's take Lily up. Ooh, opponent Veil of Summer. Okay. Sure. It's given them hexproof. So what do we do with this board state? We can I kind of just want to not attack. Is that crazy? Kind of just think we don't attack. I think we're pretty likely to win next turn if we attack with both this turn, but I also think that gives the opponent a small line back into the game, and now they don't have one because they top decked a land. So pretty happy with this. Decision. We draw a Pulse. Okay. Let's eat some stuff. Edict the opponent. We might as well eat here with Scooze rather than firing up Quagmire. And I think we're just going to eat one thing and then pass holding up one activation and also holding up Castle Locthwain and also bluffing all kinds of other stuff. And also just not really being able to lose from here as far as I can tell. I don't know what opponent's thinking about here. Beautiful. Okay, the deck is hitting its stride, my friends. We've cashed another league. The results continue to be awesome on the whole on the channel, and we are live for the 4-1, and we've been cruising 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Let's get another 2-0 to round it out, and then we can complain about the opponent's nut draws in round 1, denying our 5-0. It's funny because when I first started this channel, I was like thinking to myself when I was new enough that competitive leagues were something I hadn't really been doing yet. I guess that was even before I started the channel. And granted, competitive leagues were tougher back when they were separate from friendlies. Now that they're all in one, it's a little easier overall, for sure. But anyway, I remember saying back then, like, I don't care if I never 5-0, I just want to keep being able to play for free. Like, I would take a million 3-2s all day, every day. But now that now that I'm here, I'm like, you know, like, it's not enough that like, an overwhelming majority of the leagues have been positive. The overall win rate's been so great. Where are my 5-0s, you know? So, grass is always greener on the other side. But now I'm at the point where it's like, you know, rock decks aren't getting 5-0s published. I'd rather go 0-5 and then 5-0 back and forth and get some published lists. So, you always want what you can't have, right? But it's alright, my friends. We are continuing to plug away. Again, if I had more time to play, I think that might help, but I'll have to content myself with the deck just, like, feeling really good, just looking really good. You know, I hope this is a boon to you out there playing the rock. I hope it's good morale booster. I hope it's good, of course, you know, edifying content in terms of how to pilot the deck. And I hope one of you guys starts putting up some regular 5-0s, because that would be sweet. And as always, if you're a follower or especially a patron, and you do get a 5-0 published, or you do well in a really big event, even a not so big event, let me know. Reach out to me. I'll give you a shout out on the channel, right? So, anyway, we've got another perfectly fine hand. It's a little slow and uninteractive on the draw, but it is a keep. We've been against a ton of fair decks, so this is another good anti-fair deck hand. It's another bobble deck, okay, so maybe another Shadow, maybe Urza, Emery, what have you. Bloodstained Mire, looks like another Shadow deck. Ooh, this is we're running the Shadow Gauntlet today. Okay, well, you know, again, I think these are pretty decent matchups overall. I don't remember what the opponent's name from last time was. It's not the same opponent, is it? Either way, it's the same deck. Okay, so I mean, all three of these are viable takes. It all depends on what the opponent has going on. They take Liliana, okay. And of course, they don't fully know without having drawn off the baubles, which is always an interesting, you know, always an interesting thing about bauble, right? Interesting call as to what land to play there. Shouldn't matter much, but, you know, sometimes you think about losing extra lands out of your hand to Liliana's or Kolaghan's commands or something like this, and you wonder whether you'd rather have Quagmire or Castle. I think since we have so many threats, we keep the Castle. Now that we've drawn Mr. QB especially. QB should be QB should be okay here. It's not like a perfect matchup for QB, but definitely can really punish the opponent, I would imagine, for going so low on their life. And of course, just being like a, you know, Vigilant Death Toucher is pretty sweet. Opponent found a swamp off of Traverse. We find Scooze. That's cool. I think we're still playing Bob. Yep. Okay, so now they have Delirium. Now they get to go get a Shadow, or maybe a Goyf. Alright, so they did get a Shadow. They do have Inquisition. The opponents had a really efficient first 3 turns. There's no question about it. They now know about our secret spicy tech of the QB, and that sucks. Nothing we can do about that, though. We do draw a Fatal Push. That's pretty cool. But what do we do with it? So we have a few options here. We can play the Scooze and just play Quagmire so we know we've got QB on curve. I think we now have enough incentives that we don't want to do that, though. So if we're going to go Scooze into Catacombs, then we can eat the opponent's Fatal Push to take them off of Delirium. But they've already cast 2 Traverse. I don't think we need to play around the 3rd. So the question then becomes, do we eat one of our own creatures to get bigger than K-Command with Scooze? I think we actually do. Because K-Command killing Scooze and forcing us to discard is one of the biggest blowouts they could have right now. And we do need to kind of Affection Shock here. Or maybe we just pass in case they draw another discard spell. Like, if they draw another Inquisition and we're tapped out, that's going to really suck, right? So, yeah, I guess we just pass. But, and then if they just say go, are we gonna do anything? Interesting. They're really interesting. Okay, they've got Dismember. Sure. Nice. Alright, we've got some good inevitability right now with Quagmire, QB, Castle Locthwain. Opponent's got something to do with this last card. It might be a K-Command. That'd be pretty rough, buying back the Shadow, getting rid of our Quag. Yeah. This card is everywhere now. Yeah, I think we still do pitch Quagmire. There are some arguments for pitching Beast, though, right? But, alright. We'll hit the 4th land sometime. Hitting that 4th land would be crucial for the castle as well as activating Quagmire. But, you know, drawing a trophy is pretty good, too. I'm not complaining. Not complaining. Just kind of funny. Oh, okay, now I'm kind of complaining. How punished can you get for pitching a land? Again, this is all fine. Like, there's literally nothing else in our deck that's either, like, that's a bad draw, basically. Maybe discard isn't the best right now because the opponent doesn't seem like they have much. But, like, everything else in our deck is either a land, which we need, or it's castable. And sitting on removal is definitely a nice piece of assurance here. Oh my god, reactive cards. Well, again, we should have the inevitability here. But hey, the longer it goes, the sketchier it becomes. Okay, opponent thinning out the deck. One more fetch land, my friend, and you're in QB territory, though. Field of Ruin. And now they don't have Revolt for push. Okay. That's just fine with us. We can now activate Castle. We are now more mana efficient. And QB's legendary anyway. Ooh, and they cycle. So now they're in QB strike range. Okay, let's go for it, right? Yeah, we go for it. Is that going to get him? Does the QB close it out? Boom. Got him with the QB. Gotta love it, gotta love it. So, once again, we load up for Shadow deck, and this time I think we definitely want Spellbomb because they showed us Traverse. So, same sideboarding protocol as last time, except now Spellbomb is more firmly in Tier 1. We're probably going to sideboard the exact same way, though, which is 5 discard spells out, leaving an Inquisition. Brutality goes. Urborg goes. These 5 come in. And 2 Plague Men. We did cut a Bob on the draw to hedge against their Plague Men last time. Did we not cut a land last time? I don't remember. We've played against Shadow too many times this league. I do like cutting a Bob here on the draw. What comes in? It could be a second Inquisition or a third Plague Engineer. I think I'm going to play with 2 Inquisitions here on the draw against this deck. Seems good. Hand's fine. It's pretty soft to discard, but so is taking a mulligan. So we just have to hope it's good enough. The utility lands are really shining this league. Again, granted, we've played a fair deck like every match, basically, or literally. But nevertheless, really showing why they're in the deck. And they just fit a lot more comfortably when we are on 24 lands like this list is. Looks like the opponent's got a discard spell, which is really what we don't want to see when we kept a 5-lander. Or they're just doing the bobble thing. Fair enough. There were some interesting decisions about what land to run out there, actually. I kind of want to... I obviously want to be able to push this upcoming turn, if that makes sense. I also wanted the ability to maybe run out Scooze, which is why I almost played a Fetch Land or a Blooming Marsh here. But I think I'd rather actually just play Treetop Village than Scooze to pressure a Liliana. So we're going to push. Drawing another Blooming Marsh is terrible, though. So, we're flooding real hard. We only have 1 spell in hand. But at least Treetop can pressure Lily. Yeah, Thoughtseize our Scooze away, and then we got nothing. We got Field of Ruin. We're going to start working on their lands. Unless we top deck a Lily of our own, like they tap out here for a Goyf, we top deck Liliana, please. Or they go Traverse, get a Shadow. Once again, Liliana, please. Liliana one time. Trophy. We'll take it. And once again, respecting Veil of Summer, we'll main phase it. Okay, that's a fine draw. Not gonna complain about that one in the least. Oh, yo, Hazoret. Scary. That's actually a card we're going to struggle to beat. Yeah. And unless we're able to just erase it with Treetop, which is definitely a thing. Okay, while they are fetching, I think I should field. Just again playing around. Well, nah, Veil of Summer doesn't give them hexproof. Yeah, they're going to get it tapped anyway. Alright, I guess we hit a red-green land here. We could do it on the draw step too. Doesn't make much of a difference. It's possible that, like, I think letting them go to the draw step would be loose though, because remember they have this activated ability. They might kind of actively want to dump out their hand here. So rather than let them float mana and use it there. Brutal. So now Liliana's not an out to Hazoret, and now we cannot attack. Oh, jeez. Opponent with the full squad here. Alright. I think we're dead. I mean, we flooded like crazy. It's just not... Alright, so Castle is just not usable right now because we're just so flooded. Yeah. All we can do is try to trade off with Quagmire and try to actually draw a little action for once. Yeah, opponent got a kill spell too. Yeah. We're going to be at 1. Let's just scoop. Oh, boy, that was brutal, guys. That was brutal, but hey, I still think we're favored. Opponent had a bit of a nutty curve out there, and I mean, more importantly, though, we just flooded. We had very little off the top besides lands after a land-heavy keep. So, on the play, I think we're going to sub out an Inquisition for a Bob. And another Plague Man seems reasonable, but I think also just playing 2 is reasonable. Most things I think are better here than the 3rd Plague Man. I think the 1 of Inquisition is fine. Yeah. Okay. Either way, we cash the league, right? But let's try for this final match win, the final game win to give us the final match win to give us the 4-1, and to continue flexing on the shadow decks as we should. Come on, good hand. It's all right. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. We'll keep We just really need to hit that third black land on curve, and it'll be great. And you know, even if we don't, it's not the end of the world, because there are scenarios in which the opponent doesn't have an early board presence, and Liliana's just kind of ticking up symmetrically, and we've got a bunch of reactive cards in hand that we can't use effectively. So, you know, even if we don't hit the Liliana curve, we still could be very well situated with this hand. So I'll call it a quite good hand. But I still want to hit that third black land, huh? Okay, it's a land, but it's not black. We'll take it. It gives us that guarantee. And Field of Ruin, of course, a pretty high value effect in this matchup. I think we're just pushing this if it's a Goyf. A Goyf of our own, huh? Do we play that out? We play that out, we hold up push. Or we just play field and we hold up either trophy or field into push, and we have a guarantee to Liliana next turn. I think I want to fix my mana here. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty rough that land was a field, but should still be okay. Yes, Shadow. So we're gonna field. You know, we could have done this in like a combat step or something. Might have been slightly better actually. But either way, we are gonna try to push here. Even though the Liliana Edict is live. Alright, let's push now in response to the fetch. That way, no Veil of Summer. That's nice that they gave us that window, because we had priority, right? And maybe this turn, maybe they have K command here, so maybe we should have activated field during, like, the attack or whatever. So, yeah. What do we pitch here? Do we just pitch Goyf and keep all of our removal? I guess. Okay, QB. I guess we're pitching that too. Drawing the QB kind of makes me wish I kept Goyf, because then we could have a Goyf and like a trophy in hand. I think we definitely have to pitch QB there, because it just might not be castable. The opponent is probably incentivized to flood the board with threats this turn, and then we can use Edict and Pulse to stay alive. We get a push out of their hand, okay? Murderous Rider. Whoa! Card is so good. We should play one. We should play one, right? Yeah, that's pretty rough that they haven't answered to the walker, but hey. But hey. It's all good. Pulse in the Shadow, sitting on the trophy. Not a bad position. Castle Locthwain is going to let us out top deck them. They're at 4 life. They're going to traverse. I guess they're probably incentivized to get a Shadow here, which is potentially going to be kind of good for us. Because I'd rather trophy the Shadow, of course, than trophy the Rider. Please no Veil of Summer. Actually, to that end, we should play Goyf and then pass and try to trophy in response to the Peatland activation. Yeah. Pretty good draw, Goyf, either way. Or then maybe we just trophy on their upkeep. Once upon a time, revealing creature or land. Okay, so we let that resolve. So they make this decision with less information, and maybe they just, like, find their basic. Their remaining basic, they don't. But now we trophy. Alright, so opponent can stay alive with a Rider. And they have a bunch of other cards in hand. But they begin by cracking Peatland. Fulminator Mage. Whew, okay. So, if we fire up Treetop, they're going to chump block Goyf and then Stone Rain the Treetop. So I guess we would rather just fire up the castle. I think they're still priced into Stone Raining the Treetop here, most likely. So, we could, the only question is to deploy the Blooming Marsh first or second. We're going to take 1 extra point of damage if we don't do it first, but that conceals info. And we might have a better land to play, like Hissing Quagmire. So yeah, we'll conceal info here, we'll attack first. Castle Locthwain. Ugh, when we find another Blooming Marsh, that's so bad. However, the onus is really on the opponent to keep finding action, because we can bury them with a castle. We do have the Goyf on field, of course. Opponent's making a real stand, though. These Nurturing Peatlands are great for them. Fulminator was pretty good there. They've got the Rider waiting in the wings. They've got a Goyf. Goyf is scary. Oh, no. Why are we flooding? Why are we flooding? I'm going to try to draw a Fatal Push right now and win. Either that or an Inquisition. Oh my goodness. Would you stop with the flood deck? I'm going to be tilted if we lose. This is crazy. Crazy flood here at the end of this game. Oh, come on. No, not like this. Yep. Dude. What the heck? If the opponent had cast Rider, we'd be dead. Okay, opponent going to 1. And failing to find. And then not casting Rider. Did they forget about it? Okay, either way we might as well... Stone Rain them and make their mana worse and thin out our deck. And like, come on. Come on, deck. Give us something here. Abrupt Decay. Yeah. I guess we're upkeeping this. Well, this is a great game no matter what happens. Great way to finish out the league. And we do have a lifeline now. We do have hope. Once upon a time. For another Goyf. But maybe they, I mean, if they remember about their Rider, they still can't cast them both this turn, probably. Yeah, definitely, because any land they have is going to be unusable. Alright, so now we need to find yet another something. Unbelievable. Well, guys, I mean, I don't know what to say. We'll fetch and die on our own terms. I'll passive-aggressively click the reveal hand button so the opponent knows how lucky they got. And we're going to make our client short-circuit when we do that. But, I mean, it's kind of how my leagues have been going lately. Like, the deck feels so good. The deck feels so good. The deck is performing so well. But I'm getting, like, 1 or 2 specific moments of extreme, like, unbeatable curve-outs from the opponent. And or extreme bad luck on my end. And this was a great example of that. We saw round 1, Grixis Shadow, which is a firmly favorable matchup for us, just having everything. Just having everything, having a really, not only everything, but like in a really aggressive form. So didn't give us a chance to catch up or to try to, you know, keep pace, even if we're not curving out as well, and let our natural advantages take root and then maybe eventually get there. And then there at the end, we were ahead like that whole game. We just, both game 2 and game 3 of round 5, we just flooded to an unbelievable level. Literally any one of our mana sinks, probably at any point of either of those games, and we are going to win that. So, I mean, even just a little bit of mercy from the flood and we come away with a 4-1. But again, this is how my leagues have been lately. It's why the 5-0s have been eluding me, but it's why I'm still optimistic about the deck. Because you see that if we're even drawing reasonably, we're keeping pace with, like, everything in the format, really, except Eldrazi-Tron. That's been my experience. Yes, we are unfavored against Jund. We are unfavored against big mana. but we can at least kind of keep pace with them unless they're just nutting us. Eldrazi-tron, yeah, seems like no matter what I do, unless they just fail to go off at all, that's a bad one. But, you know, beyond that, I think we are in pole position as a BGX. Any BGX deck is honestly pretty good right now, if you ask me. I know a lot of people don't think midrange is that well positioned anymore. I disagree. It still feels really, really strong to me. So this was another 3-2, another cached league, and another one where, you know, if the luck just finally breaks our way one of these days in a similar league, it's going to be like a cakewalk 5-0, right? So I hope you all enjoyed this out there. I do thank you for watching. I thank you for supporting the content in any way you can, especially to our new Patreon supporters, Bloodlights and Teddy Dector. So for those who don't know, I am a working father. I am, money is pretty tight to the point where I'm kind of actively selling out of what remains of my paper collection just to further move my presence online and just kind of to stay ahead of things. My expenses are pretty high right now to the point where I might, if I wasn't getting the support that I get on this channel, I might be considering a second job, at least short term. So your support genuinely makes all the difference in the world to me, in terms of it does help my family, it does help my quality of life, but it also really makes it possible for me to not work a second job and therefore to help you, to bring you this content. If I'm working 2 jobs, I got no time for the channel, that's for sure. So thank you so much, sincerely, I do mean it, to everybody who is supporting me on Patreon. Links in the description below. At any tier, you do get access to the scouting reports that I write once a month, and at higher tiers, there are rewards that expand upon that as well. So thanks to everybody doing that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos as well. And as always, my friends, let me know what you thought about the league, what you thought about the sideboarding decisions, any insights on the list, any experience that you're having on the Rock or on other BGX decks. We always have great convos going on in the comments section. So we carry on, we keep getting positive results, and the signs are still very, very promising. And, sometimes that's all you can ask for. So thank you again for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll be playing this again, obviously. More donation leagues perhaps in the near future. And more theory and analytical content coming your way as well. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Who should we put on the thumbnail? Who should we put on the thumbnail? That's going to be a good question. Honestly, I might have to look back, skim back through the video before I upload it to see exactly who deserves to be on the thumbnail. So maybe I just stopped the video, stopped my ending spiel for nothing, because maybe I don't know what cards goes on the thumbnail here. Our removal was definitely awesome. Hexdrinker was great. Yeah, we'll have to see. But in any case, thanks again for watching. Talk to you soon.